What are we doing with your hair today, bro?
Don't blink. Yes, you blink. Welcome to our show. This is doing well. Having a wonderful day. As you can tell, we're super freaking tired. You're gonna see me looking here a lot because we're playing the game at the same time and we're doing it live. We're watching the sunset, or we're filming the sunset. But I want it to be live. That way we get the natural lights of thing. It's not gonna be a lot. Around halfway through the videos, I'm gonna have to change it. But that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's prepare the meal for today. It's not really prepared. It's some leftovers. We're getting to eat them too. What I'm gonna do something silly. We have two portion of rice. My mom said, "Oh, that way you know the what should I call it? you know the Oh yeah, I had such a hard time with word today. That way we know how much we have. But at the same time, you know what? Rules are made to be broken. She expected me to eat this with the chicken. However, we ate a lot of fried chicken yesterday. And, dude, honestly, not complaining, but whew, I had a hard time in the bathroom. So without further ado, let's freaking go. Today on the menu, we have some delicious homemade rice. My mom makes some actually really good rice. And we also have the KFC gravy. So the two of them together should be phenomenal. What was the inspiration behind the meal? Leftovers. What was the inspiration behind the meal? I've had. Thank you so much for the likes, Moneybag. I appreciate you. I have friends, Filipino friends, and it's a crime if they don't put some gravy on their rice. So we do the same thing. Now I know this doesn't look like fried chicken, KFC gravy, but it is. Now, is it the best gravy ever? No. I don't know who has the best gravy, to be quite honest. I don't know who has it. But, I wouldn't know. Because I'm not a, I don't know, culturally speaking, if we're super gravy in Canada. I don't know. So here we are. We got a little rice, got a little gravy. We're gonna put that muff on in the microwave for about 2 minutes and a half. 3 minutes 37, why not? Oh, thank you so much for the likes, guys. Yes, sir. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back here. So there you go. With these sunsets. There's actually some left over here. So I am gonna show you guys this. We are live on TikTok. That's why you're gonna hear me talk a lot. Yeah. So once again, we're doing two things at once, but as they say in French, la vie. You guys are killing it with the likes. Appreciate y'all. Nini, the best. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. I hope everybody's well. But Nini, she's showing love, girl. She's showing love. If you guys follow her, please do. Thank you. Oh, money bags. Appreciate the likes, my dude. You're so kind. Super, super kind. Sincerely appreciate you guys. I haven't been live in a while. In fact, I went back yesterday live and it was super nice. And it's starting in a really good fashion. It's always super nice. I'm gonna show you the sunset. Okay, you want to see the sunset while we're waiting for our meal? So here we're actually filming. You can see here the little camera. You can see here the game. This is what we're filming, the sunset. And yeah, so trying to multitask, which I'm not very successful at, but you get better. You live and learn, as they say. Well, as they say in every single culture, right? So that's good. That is good. That is also good. So how was you guys' day today? Did you guys have a nice day after the St. Patty's or nay? I hope you had. $1,000 was donated, dude. If first of all, if that was true, I would hope that it was donated to a good cause. I give not a good cause. There's starving children out there. There's orphan out there. There's people who are going through war. There's people who are homeless. So yeah, so they need the money more than I do. So if it was true, that'd be money wasted because, once again, it's not about money and how much you give and how much you don't give. It's so who you give it. Are you giving it to somebody that truly needs it, or are you giving it to somebody just because of that? Right? That's all. Fuck. I am starving. So rice and gravy, because we have a little bit of an upset stomach. Get that we're a bit tired, so yeah, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. I have a little bit of water with some Crystal Light, which is a really good mix. And hopefully, so the plan was to start eating. I was supposed to come in earlier, but nah, your boy was busy. Your boy was busy. Sometimes it happens, right? Anyway, come on, dude. I wanna eat. Not super hungry, but we're trying to eat 1 meal a day. So because we're trying to eat 1 meal a day, doesn't matter how hungry I am, I have to eat. I don't know. Sometimes you're just not hungry. Now the really cool thing is it's freaking steaming. Just have to mix it up. It's gonna be nice. Some nice gravy and some rice. Possibly one of the easiest meal to make. Again, rice is super cheap, and the gravy gives it. It's weird because I don't know how nutritious is a bowl of rice. I know it fills you up, but what about nutriment? Does it give you a lot of vitamins, or it gives a lot of carbs, protein, fat, lipid, carbs? I'm forgetting a bunch of things, right? I'm forgetting a bunch of things. Sugar, sweet, vitamins, iron. Okay, a lot of the things are super delicious. So, for example, iron. You're not gonna have a good source of iron and a lot of things, right? And even if you do, they're not gonna put it as much as sodium. Because when you look at product, right? When you look at a product, for example, this jar of mayonnaise, they'll put in forward the fat, the carbohydrate, glucose, protein, cholesterol, and sodium, right? Or you see, so they won't put the other stuff. So because they don't put the other stuff, it's not something that we talk about. But it's nice because the gravy is basically what? Basically beef stock and flour. Not flowers and a garden flour to make bread. Are you good? You're good. You're still good. Okay, perfect. So as they say in French, bon appétit. As they say in French and English, bon appétit. As they say in Chinese, kampai. As they say in Romanian, pufta bună. As they say in Russian, Nastrovia. As they say in Italian, mangia mangia. And that's pretty much it. That's all I know. I used to know how to say it in Italian. No, I used to know how to say it in Spanish, but that's I forgot. Oh yeah. Solid meal. Rice is super easy to digest, super easy to eat. When you don't feel good, rice and soup is the best way. A lot of people say oatmeal, but I do not know if that's true. I don't really know. Okay, everything is good. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do? Whoa! Let's not wait and lose our pants over here. I'm gonna light up this, right? We're gonna say good night. We're gonna close this and we'll continue live There you go. There you freaking go. Holy. What a day. What a day. Now the trick here is I like to have it a little bit higher when I go outside and a little bit lower when I'm filming. Just this. It's been months since we had that. Months. It doesn't feel like months, but it's been months. Okay, that's good. Perfect. Let's go. No, sorry. It hasn't been months, but it feels like months. That's what I'm trying to say. Side meal. It's a shame because I don't have gravy often. It's harder for me to really appreciate. I'm good at it now. I'm one of the people that are listening to only the gaming because we're also filming this. So I want to give people the the audio. Fuck, feels good to eat. Never done stop. I still have to finish this. We have Nikkei from the tower. I'm a little nap before because tired. It's not because, well, yesterday we were sick. We were sick yesterday, so me said why we're feeling tired today. I don't know. I have no clue. You guys mind if I'm eating? A lot of people say don't sap. Apparently, I'm a chronic sapper. So zapping is when you eat and you... Yeah, I didn't know what it was. Somebody told me, hey, you sap, and I'm like, what the fuck is sapping? My apparently is bad. I'm nervous also because of the TikTok. My apologies. Because we had a warning today. Now, I did appeal it. But I don't know. I know. It's such a weird thing. Like, I don't know how to say it, but so for example, right, the person that came up with mukbangs, which is eating in front of the camera, right? That person, possibly one of the weird guy because people will not film themselves eating, right? Even if that's something we do every single day. So if like for example, when you take a shower, right? People will not film themselves taking a shower because that's privacy. But eating has become kind of a private thing. But in itself, is eating private or not? And I don't think so. We eat in family. We eat with friends. We eat in restaurants. So it's not private. It became something that we're so unused to, right? Now, people like, historically speaking, platform like YouTube, platform like Facebook, platform like Snapchat, platform like Vine, platform later on, but those are the pioneers. So people start filming what they were doing. People start filming their day-to-day life. So when you saw somebody eating, so for example, one of the first person to eat on camera was possibly, well, it depends. So it's not necessarily the first person to eat on camera, but the first person to be popular eating on camera, which is possibly Epic Mealtime. they're one of the pioneers of YouTube, and it was food. It was food, right? But then themselves, they kind of did it in a way of um, they kind of do it in a way of almost parody. So not only are we going to be eating on camera, we're going to be eating large amount of food, right? Now that's different. But then you had people that started doing mukbangs, and when they started doing mukbangs, became completely different. So we're eating rice. Matthew, what's up? We're eating rice and gravy. So yeah, so it doesn't look great. It does taste great though. So for the people with the mukbang, and I think I think it's actually a really cool thing because um I think this I don't know the story. I didn't check it out. This is not a planned subject, of course. But you think about it and you think about Matthew, thanks for the likes, appreciate you, dude. You're doing well. Um I think the people that started it was possibly ASMR, which is basically making noise for relaxing. But when you look at ASMR now, it's actually quite interesting because when you look at the ASMR, this is something very normal. So people have been listening to sounds for decades, I was gonna say for centuries, but possibly as soon as we started listening to music. So most of the time it's gonna be ambient sound. So we're talking about the rain. We're talking about firecrackers. No, fire cracking. Sorry, how you call it? Not sure how you call it. But then we started listening to that as a calming sound, even hypnotic. Um, so when you want to sleep, right? Animal sound. For example, whale or what's up, Godzilla? How are you, my dude? Guys, if you don't follow Godzilla, please do. Dude's a fucking phenomenal. So yeah, so they started doing this ambient noise, and then people they start to hear this ambient noise, and they were like, okay, well, this is very calming, right? And because this is very calming, what they started doing was like, okay, well, what sound other sound is calming? So when you look at ASMR, it's a lot of sound that you hear often. For example, you're gonna be hearing people type on their computer. You're gonna hear people play with a pen, right? So you hear those sounds, and they're very calming. So this is where ASMR came from, and I feel like people eating on camera was not super. I wouldn't say like super taboo, but I think it's more so the sounds and also for some people it's triggering, right? So we're talking about ASMR, talking about listening or audio. I don't think there's a lot of people that find some sort of audio to be triggering. So for example, okay, like maybe a chainsaw, maybe a blackboard, and maybe a pistol or a gun whatsoever, but those are associated with violence, right? Even with the blackboard, think about, you say, okay, well, the blackboard, how's that violent, right? Well, the blackboard is in school, and in school you possibly got in trouble with a teacher, right? The teacher had access to what? To a blackboard, right? So not necessarily a physical violence, not necessarily a emotional violence, but a symbolism of authority, right? So when you think about ASMR, you think about and even when you look at it, it's actually quite phenomenal, because it's a sign of authority. So when we think about ASMR, we think about noise like thunders, like rain, so things that are not in our control. However, we do control these because we can go inside, we can hide from the rain, right? So it's actually quite calming. So when it comes to eating, which is the reason why we're saying that is because I was asking, you guys mind if I eat? No, maybe, possibly. But when you think about it, it's kind of like a noise, right? It's more like a noise. But when you look I don't know, as a kid, when I was eating, like, for example, like chips, right? When you're eating chips, you have this amazing sound, and it's almost like a burp or a fart, right? It's not super polite, it's not super common, but it's a sense of. I was watching this couple, Leanne and Connor, shout out, and they have this kid whose name is Cozy, and Cozy, super sweet kid, but he's like 2 or 3 years old. So possibly raised with his father saying, "Hey, fart noise are funny," and then he kind of understand how to do fart noise, and it's funny. And of course, it's a child, so the level of maturity isn't there. But at the same time, it's a special bond, you know. It's a special bond, and that's super sweet. And when you look at sounds in general, sounds in themselves, please don't. Whoopala, I already did, dude. When you look at sounds in itself, sound is such a wonderful thing. You think about a person, right? I'm Aquarius, so a lot of things that I'm thinking about are water. But when you think about sound, I want you guys to close your eyes and just picture a person diving in, and you can actually hear it diving. I want you guys to think about somebody that's doing a bomb in the water. So they're putting themselves to make a huge splash. So you have that sound, right? And it's actually quite interesting, because of course, there's this whole not technology, but this old mentality of, hey, I'm a visual learner, or I'm an audio learner, right? So why do I learn that? And I feel for a lot of people, visually speaking, it's a bit easier, because visually speaking, it's, and again, this is such an interesting subject, not the subject of today, but it's still, I think with visual, I think, audio, somebody will explain to you the situation, right? But then with audio, if there's nobody to explain to you what's going on, you're not going to be learning as nicely as you are. And if you think about visually speaking, then visually speaking, you're going to be able to understand or to learn no matter the situation, right? Which is actually quite nice. So it's all a question of perspective. It's all a question of understanding, and understanding what makes you you, what makes us community wise. I don't know, just the fact that eating on camera, and I don't know how I got there, but I know I was asking you guys if it's bothering you, and ultimately speaking, I know it bothers some people, but also the fact that I had a call from work today about my ex job, getting back into business, right? If that makes sense, and it goes back to business, and because of going back to business, I might be working. So I am working right now, but it's more temporary. It's more like on calls. I've been with an agency, so some weeks I'm working a lot, some weeks I'm not working at all. This is permanent, and the thoughts of working with other people excites me. Not excites me in a fucked up fashion, but it excites me in a sense that it is excuse, it is a opportunity, it is a way, it is whatever you want to call it, right? Be social, right? And but then you know what you're missing about the social is a joke, but it's also the very meaningful thing. For example, I was with my father this morning, and my father wasn't feeling very talkative, right? And I was like, okay, well, is there an issue? Is there a reason for you not talking? And even my mom, I saw her this weekend, and she wasn't talking much. Then I started listening and listening and listening and listening. And because she wasn't talking much, it sounds like her sipping her coffee. We're there, right? And for some strange, very strange reason, her sipping her coffee was kind of reconforting, because, like, I am in a room surrounded with people, and I do feel like there's other people. And even though it's a stupid sound like sipping coffee, you still feel that way, right? So yes, those sounds. Ultimately, it's odd, because we're at 50 minutes, so I'm gonna have to do another recording. It's the sound who is give me a sec, guys. Reacted. I don't know what that means. I do not know what this means. Choo choo choo. There you go. That is pretty much it. So we're back with part 2 of our Tokyo Ghoul series. Sorry about the talking, guys, but once again, we're live on TikTok and we're doing other things, so enjoy. But yeah, so there's a lot of triggers that made the visual, or when you think about it, this subject, the way it came in, right, the way it came forward, actually quite normal. It's actually really, really, really normal. We talk about triggers, right? We talk about triggers that are auditive. Talking about a trigger that is visual, right? Now, the reason why we're talking about this, and you might wonder, dude, you've been talking about audio and visual triggers for a while. What's going on? Well, even as a person that often feels the need to justify themselves, right? Start eating on camera. I'm like, there's people that are gonna be bothered by that. So you see other people that get bothered by that, and you're like, okay, well, why do you get bothered, right? And you feel that need to be to saying sorry, but then you're growing up and you're more mature, right? And because you're growing up and you're more mature, you get, how can I say this? You it's not necessarily about why is this person mad. It's more so about, okay, so yeah, it's actually that. It's not necessarily about the fact that they're mad. It's about why they're mad. So you wonder the visual, the triggers, and there's a lot of triggers, right? I don't know. I don't know. But even then, if you want to go right into the subject, when you look at eating, right, it's kind of crazy because you're gonna go with I'm thinking about eating meat. So you're gonna go about, I don't know, eating a seashell seafood, and you're crunching, and you know it's animal. You know it used to be something that was alive, and you can literally hear. Can you can literally hear the remains of what's being eaten, right? You hear the remain of what's being eaten, like, holy shit, this used to be something that had a soul, something that was alive, right? Now, ultimately speaking, it's not necessarily about vegetarianism. Um, most of us, most of us will never know what it is to have to. Oops, give me a sec, guys. We're fixing something because the thing is broken, and there you go. Where are you? There you go. There you go. That's perfect. It is perfect. Most of us will never have the necessities for hunt for food. No, most of us will never have the necessity to take a life to save your own life, right? Because we go to food market, we go to butcher, we go to eat food in a restaurant. But at the same time, you acknowledge that the thing that's in front of you was alive, right? So, but then you get into subject like veganism, with that's a lot more. Veganism not taking away eggs, but then there's a lot of problem of overpopulation of animals, right? So there's this belief that the cycle of life is a cycle of life because there is a need for that. So one of the most interesting thing is if you look at the beasts or animals that are at the lowest of that, they're the one that reproducing themselves the most. So, for example, when you really look at it, you could think about flies, you could think about ants, which we see a creature like frogs or fish. Fish eats flies, right? They're basically at some, if not the lowest of the cycle of life. So you feel like those reproducing themselves so freaking quick. When you look at a when you look at when you look at a fish will have eggs and eggs and eggs and eggs and eggs, and the eggs are different, right? When you look at a bigger animals, you look at a cow, you look at a lion, you look at a tiger. They're having a lot less offspring, right? And because they're having a lot less offspring, then there's a unbalance in the cycle of life. So when you think about the cycle of life, you think about the story. You think about story, you think about the Bible, about the Ark of Noah, which was two beasts to make sure that those beasts would not be extinct. You guys remember that? You guys remember that? Cool. Cool, 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 cool. So then, like, okay, well, how come they didn't eat each other, right? Um, so I do believe that the cycle of life is the way it's supposed to be. Now, technically speaking, the cycle of life completely changed when we decided to raise cattle, to raise pig, right? Because then those animals, and this is kind of the part that is the scariest. So for example, you have this a super normal animal, right? And because you have this super normal animals, you're in a position of, okay, well, um He's gonna be hunting. He's gonna be surviving on his own. So you look at one of the best example is actually the pig. The pig itself. So the pig itself, if you look at the savage or the wild version of the pig, you get a boar. Now a boar will have two husks to defend itself. When you look at the pig itself, the pig doesn't have husk. So the husk will be able to take care of his enemies, his natural enemies. But you take away that power by raising it. Now, ultimately speaking, you're raising it and you're defending it. So, I was watching this YouTube channel, and this guy has a farm, and it's a sheep farm. And for this guy, there's a lot of wolf around. So he had this humongous dog, which I believe is a it's not a Malamute, it's not a, but it's the same genre of that. And it's a huge dog, right? This dog will protect. This dog will protect the what should we call it? This dog will protect. Oh, it's complicated. This dog will protect those sheep, and that dog's a male, right? So that dog is a male, and I think it was because the male was more aggressive, and then the guy bought a puppy of the same race. But then the puppy was hungry and he wouldn't eat. So then what ended up happening was one of the sheep. I don't know the whole story. Something about, I think she lost a child, or they said, okay, well, you're gonna be feeding the puppy. The sheep ended up feeding the puppy, and it was such a beautiful thing because, like, okay, well, this dog, this I don't remember the name, sadly. This dog will protect you, so you feed it, right? But then there's cohabitation, right? So she's quite nice. But then there's some animals that are not able to defend themselves, like a chicken will not be able to defend itself. However, with a chicken will be able to run away. There's always going to be this flight or flight answer, and it's not because when you look at it, when you look at birds and itself, most of the birds are not going to be able to defend themselves. Very rarely. Now you do have birds like falcon, like eagle, like a how that are able to defend themselves, but that's very rare. You look at you think a pigeon is able to, a dove, a pigeon, a dove. No, a raven and a corbeau. There's another word for that. There's another one, a similar one. Okay, well we'll put a raven. You think a raven? The raven's actually really smart. See, one of the people don't believe that, but parrots and ravens are the smartest. But I don't think that they're having ability to defend themselves, right? And because they don't have this ability to defend themselves, you're in a position where you're like, holy shit, I have to defend them, right? But then you look at other animals, and the animal kingdom has taught us that there is such a thing as predator and prey, and some animals are meant to be prey, and some animals are meant to be predator, right? Now, us, with technology, anybody can go out in the wild and defend himself against a tiger and a bear and shit like that, right? But the reality is, if it wasn't for technologies, how many of us could survive, right? And I've been watching a lot of Outdoors Boys, and Outdoor Boys is that Outdoor Boy is understanding how to survive in the forest, right? But and although Outdoor Boys will always have this understanding, the generational knowledge of how to survive from father to son to son. The father, as a way to defend himself, he has a I don't think it's a BB gun, but for the sake of the life, we'll say it's a BB gun, right? And he can protect himself. Um. Mm, mm. Because they're able to protect himself, then and survive, right? I don't know. I believe in the theory of evolution, right? We're weaker. Now, with this theory of evolution, the nicest thing ever is the factor that there's a possibility that I was talking about pig before, right? The difference between a pig and a boar. You remember that? There's a huge possibility that us humans did the same thing. The previous step in evolution was a lot stronger, was more able to defend itself. Or to defend himself, right? And I don't know, because with evolution, you're like, holy shit, I was able to evolve. There you go. I'm fucking full. Because we talked a lot and then our body started digesting, which is not good. At the same time, it's a great thing because I don't know. See, if we were able to evolve, now that's a complicated thing. That is a super complicated thing. The first animal to have this almost evolution was a dog. When you look at the ancestor of the dogs, it was some wolf, right? Or some huge dog, and then we domesticated them. And then we had farm animal, which was cow, pig, chicken, and it possibly devolved into a more docile variant because it didn't need to protect himself. And as human, we did the same. Now the greatest thing with that, I believe, again, all of this is possibly not even true. All of this is possibly it's just a general idea that I'm throwing out there. But imagine, right, that is true. Imagine that is true. What if the farm animals, because of generation and generation and generation of being we'll call it domesticated, huh? They change the physicality, the core of it, the general aspect of these animals, and they changed for the better, or for the better in a sense of this is what we need versus this is what we are, right? If the human did the same, so the human would have generation after generation of being in a position where they're not in danger. So by not being in danger, we domesticated ourselves, right? We domesticated ourselves in a fashion of, well, we don't really need to work that hard. We don't really need to defend ourselves. But you look at and it's not because people will say, oh yeah, but we evolve and we're smarter, right? Is that true? I don't know if we're smarter. I know that we change. Well, the probability. So, to get a human baby, and not raise it. And the whole thing of Tarzan is a story, of course, but in Tarzan, it's a baby, and you raise it with animals. And of course, he becomes more like an ape, because we're closer to the ape than other animals, but at the same time, isn't that much smarter than a caveman? And also, the thing with knowledge is not necessarily about how much you know. It's about how useful it is. So, I'm the outdoor boys. I learned how to make a fire. I've also learned the very basic of programming in real life, or in a non-professional fashion. What is more useful, programming or the fire? The fire. So now I'm gonna have to stop here because I have to go to the bathroom. But I want to thank you guys for listening. And thank the people that came in, and that I love you, that you matter. See you guys soon. Take it easy. Thank you so much. Plus, we're at 50%, so it's perfect. Have a nice evening. Love y'all. And peace. Okay, that's good. Cool life, cool life, cool life. Cherry bomb.